Hey, everyone, and welcome into the Reload podcast. Along with Marshall Scott and Nathan Gilslider, I'm Justin Southwell, and today we have an honored guest, Dr. Yanqi Wu. I appreciate you joining because it's peak off season for Oklahoma State fans, especially football. But we've got the World Cup going on, and a point that has been made across social media. We've seen articles. Oklahoma State is really trying to push this out to let people know these are Oklahoma State grasses that these guys are playing on. We're, of course, very proud of that. And so, of course, it has become another point of discussion. Boone Pickens Stadium has turf, but we have all these amazing grasses out there. So we had to bring the expert on. Dr. Wu, thank you so much for joining the podcast this evening. A pleasure to have you.
You're welcome. I'm glad to.
So, Dr. Wu, for those who don't know, can you give us just a little bit of a background about where you came up and how you got to Oklahoma State?
Well, I grew up in China, northwest part of China, that named Ningxia. Then I worked in southwest, the place called Sichuan. Sichuan is where the Grand Panda was placed. In 2001, I came to the Oklahoma State, did my PhD. Then I always stay in Stillwater, did my postdoc research. Then OSU hired me as a faculty member until now.
That's awesome. 2001, so you've been here 25 years. That's amazing. What do you miss about China?
Food.
Food. Okay, nice.
You know, in United States, the food is very different from Asia food. In China, especially, Sichuan food is very unique. Here, sometimes we call Sichuan food, but that's Americanized Sichuan food.
Yeah.
You know, you guys need to go to China. China is now become a modern society. Many things are very modernized. Okay, like you live in hotel, you cannot see anyone. You just go to the hotel. They moderator guide you everywhere. So you don't need your cash. Okay, you don't need to use a credit card. Yeah. You just use your fees to pay everything.
That's incredible.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Have you found any place in the U.S. that is close to the food that you like, or is everything just too Americanized? Have you been able to find anything?
Well, in California, in Dallas, in Houston, big cities, there are some very good Chinese food.
Okay, nice. I like it. I always wondered, because you have people that come from different cultures, and we have America is kind of a hodgepodge with our food. We take a little bit that we like, and then we Americanize it, and we call it, whatever we want. So anybody that comes from a different culture, they're like, no, this is nothing.
Exactly. I like your description.
We mentioned big cities, LA, Houston, Dallas. These are locations of these FIFA games that are going on right now. And,
exactly.
What's really cool is for them to be able to host those games. They're in NFL stadiums, but a lot of these stadiums have artificial turf. And FIFA said, absolutely not. You're going to have to use real grass for the World Cup. And it seems like that's the preference for many athletes. I was always under the impression that NFL franchises could not accommodate that because they're indoors or, just the grass would not get enough sunlight. And maybe in Boone Pickens Stadium, for example, the orientation is east-west, and it makes it really difficult whenever there's shadows cast for there to be enough sunlight for photosynthesis, for the grass to remain healthy. But we're kind of getting proven that that's not necessarily the case. It was maybe unwilling versus unable type of debate. Now it's just kind of like, hey, this looks like it's doable. So I just wanted to get maybe a little bit more insight into that. Does that surprise you at all, or are you just kind of like, hey, this is how we've breeded these grasses for exactly this reason?
Actually not. for this FIFA World Cup, totally 16 stadiums. And 8 stadiums, they used turf, not natural grass. But this time, as you said, FIFA required natural grass. Natural grass, there are a lot of benefits, okay? But maintain natural grass need technologies. For example, you need to provide sufficient light. Light is a feed or food for plants. So use light, plant can make carbons, energies, then produce a lot of metabolisms. Light is an important factor. Another important factor is temperatures. Plant live need optimum temperatures. As turf grass, we have 2 classes. One we call cool season grasses, normally used in the northern locations like Canada or northern part of the United States. Another group of turf grasses we call warm season grasses like Bermuda grass. We use in the south. Here in Oklahoma, Kansas, we call it transition zone. So not perfect for cool season grasses, is not perfect for warm season grasses, but we can grow both, okay? So that's temperature. We need sufficient water. Normally, sports field water supply is no problem. We need sufficient fertilizers and good management. So for these stadiums, basically we have technologies to maintain healthy turf grasses, but probably more expensive, okay?
Got it.
Owners of this stadium probably like to use artificial turf because that's easier to maintain. Oklahoma State University, we have 2 Bermuda grass variety used in this FIFA World Cup matches. Tahoma 31 used for 3 stadiums. One is MetLife. Another one is San Francisco Bay Area 49ers Stadium. Another one in Mexico, they call it Monterrey Stadium. Another variety, our variety, we call Northbridge, used in Kansas Chiefs. And another stadium in Mexico. So put together 5 stadiums. With the Bermuda grass, total is 6 stadiums. So 5 use the Oklahoma State University grasses. We will feel very good about that.
Yeah, Dr. Wu, I was just wondering, you mentioned, the Tacoma 31. I think that's the one that, we hear quite a bit, just as sort of casual observers of the grass. But can you kind of tell us what makes a strain of Bermuda different than the other? What makes it better for, athletics, for example?
Okay. Among all turf grasses species, probably more than a dozen, Bermuda grass has the best traffic tolerance, especially recovery capabilities after injuries, caused by traffic. So that's why in the United States or around the world, many stadiums, or sports field, gaming field, or practice facilities, they use Bermuda grass. So with Bermuda grass, traditionally quality is low. At Oklahoma State University, we improve the turf quality very much. For example, texture. If you look at Tahoma 31, the texture is so fine. How fine it is, the leaf blade is just 1.6 millimeter. 1.6 millimeter. That's very fine texture. Density is very high. Also, it regrow very fast. That means you produce a divot is recovered quickly. This capability, or we call desirable traits, makes these grasses almost among the best for the sports field.
And then the last thing I had was, I bought a home 3 years ago or so. I've turned into, the very base level of lawn guy. I'll buy the big box fertilizer. I'll throw it on the yard and stuff like that. Is there a tip that you wish more people use with their personal grasses that you think would make a big difference?
Yes. When you grow the Thomas 31 false homelands, there are many people grow it, but we always recommended good management. Okay, what that means? You need to give a regular mowing, weekly mowing, give a regular fertilization, give the regular irrigation to maintain the grass in the healthy standards. Okay, so that will produce beautiful products for you.
Okay, there's a couple questions. Number one, I mean, you talked about the keys obviously to maintaining a high quality field. And one thing that we've seen in some of these stadiums, I've noticed it specifically at Dallas Cowboys Stadium in Dallas and a few others, they they have the synthetic turf kind of put in with the turf on top of it, so the roots have kind of grown in, so it has a really nice base to it. But then they're able to use the UV lights over the top to replace some of the natural light that they would get for growth. Is that something that is a short-term fix, or would that be something for, say, Boone Pickens Stadium that we could utilize if we ever did want to go to turf?
I think now technology is mature. That lighting, sports field, turf grass growth lighting system is a mature technology. Okay, but just need a very heavy investment. It costs a lot.
And then I think the question we all want to know, and everybody that's listening in, why do we not have grass, natural grass, at Boone Pickens Stadium with such beautiful grasses being used all around the world? And is that something that would be sustainable in Boone Pickens, even though it is an east to west stadium, so we know we're getting a lot more shade than a Bermuda grass would like?
Yeah. I got this question many times. What basically my answer is, these newer varieties released after Boone Pickens Stadium artificial turf put there. So this grass is released just recent years, like Tahoma 31 released in 2017. I don't remember exactly when the Boone Pickens Stadium is established or constructed, but many years ago. Okay. Another thing is, I think there probably someone look at it to change it. I hope they can change it. Next time when they are ready to renovate with a new surface, hope they consider Bermuda grass.
I would love that. Absolutely. Is there a particular Bermuda grass that you prefer over one over the other? Because I don't know all of them off the top of my head, but I think that OSU's baseball stadium might use Astro Bermuda, which is kind of curious. I was like, hey, why not Tahoma 31? But yeah, I didn't know. Did you have a soft spot in your heart for one particular one over any other?
We have 3 or 4 high quality sports type Bermuda grass varieties: Tahoma 31, North Bridge, Latitude 36, and last year we released a new one. Now we call it High Point. Still not on the market. They increase the size now on salt farms. So compared to Astro is producing Oklahoma. Okay, it's a very resilient grass, but Astro's density is lower than these modern, newer varieties. The reason sometimes they use Astro because Astro is easy to do overseeding with the ryegrass. Because density is lower, easy to put a seed, ryegrass seed into it. So that's a technology consideration here.
And that makes sense because Bermuda is not going to be that green year round, and they're going to need to overseed with kind of maybe a cooler season grass during the earlier months.
You're perfect right.
Makes sense. One other question I had was for some of these premium grasses, such as Tahoma 31, is there a particular reason we don't see that in seed form so that we could overseed our Bermuda lawns? It seems like it's always just you got to go out and get the sod.
Yeah. Just yesterday, I got that question from a salt farmer. They have license of Tahoma 31, salt farmer in Tennessee. I wrote a letter to him. This Tahoma 31, as an example, is a interspecific hybrid between common Bermuda grass and African Bermuda grass. Common Bermuda grass give 2 sets of chromosome to this progeny, and African Bermuda grass give 1 set of chromosome. So Tahoma 31 has 3 sets of chromosomes. So these 3 sets make irregular meiotic events because that is important to produce male and female gametes. If we're going to produce sterile gametes, we need paired chromosomes. Now we have 3 that cannot pair, so they cannot produce viable pollen and a viable female gamete. Make sense?
It does, yeah.
Absolutely.
So this is
basic stuff here, yeah.
But
I never would have thought about that. I just thought, I just would have thought any type of grass that's been produced you could seed, but that makes complete sense why it would not be able to germinate if it doesn't have a pair. I mean,
common Bermuda grass can produce seed because they have 4 seeds, so 2 pairs, right? 2 pairs.
Mm-hmm.
African Bermuda grass just 2 seeds, 2 pairs, they make 1 set. So they both produce viable seed, but this interspecific hybrids between them cannot.
Amazing. I learned so much today.
Right? But I want to let everyone know that not produce viable pollen is a good thing. Like people living in Oklahoma, we always have pollen allergies. If your yard you have grasses produce pollens, you may have more allergy issues. But with Tahoma, Latitude, Northbridge, this kind of grasses, they don't produce pollens.
Man,
I'm
okay,
sold.
I was like, you just sold me. Let's go.
Interesting.
That's amazing. Hera was thinking, just overseed with some tall fescue, and maybe the allergies pollens would go down, and I would have maybe a greener grass throughout some of the winter months and things like that the kids can play on. But I'm getting pretty convinced that Tahoma 31 might be the way to go.
It's beautiful grass, very beautiful, if you maintain it properly. So,
Dr. Wu, before we let you get out of here, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners? Maybe what are you working on currently? Is there anything major that we should be aware of that's potentially on the horizon?
Yes, we are working hard to improve the Bermuda grass drought resistance. In the United States, there are around 50 million acres of turf, primarily homelands. We improve drought resistance to conserve water for irrigation. So reduce the water budget or reduce water bills. That's going to help every or most families. That's my dream. We improve very much. We're still working on that. Hopefully we'll get some new varieties, save a lot of water. That's we are working.
That's the dream right there. So we appreciate you working on that. Dr. Wu, again, thank you for joining the podcast this evening. If there's anything that we can do, feel free to reach out to us anytime. We'd love to check out any kind of new variety and see what's going on.
Thanks, Dr. Wu.
Bye.
Thank you. He's the man.
Yeah, he did rock.
He's the man.
He did rock.
That might be my favorite segment I've ever done on this podcast.
Did it make any sporting sense? I don't know, but I feel smarter about grass for sure.
Absolutely.
I love it.
I had some knowledge of grass stuff. I don't know where this came from. COVID, maybe, like just getting deep into the weeds. Oh man, deep into the weeds.
I think it's also just age is catching up to us. We care about lawns
that too.
now.
I'm going to be a dad. It makes sense for me to have a nice lawn. I should look this stuff up on YouTube and learn about what's going on. So this is also another great time to plug the PFB Plus chamber because we have a lawn thread on there, and you've got to be a member to join in on that conversation. So I want to see your lawns. You need to post pictures of your lawns. It's giving me motivation. Somebody, who's this? Brett?
Holy smokes, that's a sexy lawn, if I do say so myself.
So he put in Tahoma 31 last spring, and it's incredible. He's got it cut down to about 3/4 of an inch, so I'm guessing you probably have a real mower. Must be nice.
Beautiful dogs walking.
Man, that looks really good.
Yeah, but everybody else is sort of scared to put their lawn pictures in now because Brett came in swinging such a big hammer. So
that's awesome. We've got a couple things going on. Preseason All-American statuses have been dropped, and our very own Caleb Hawkins is a preseason All-American. And Marshall, we're going to get to talk to him. It sounds like a Big 12 Media Days coming up, but how maybe not surprised, but how are you whenever you found out that news?
Yeah, I think I was a little bit surprised that he was a preseason All-American. Just, coming up from a lower level, you never really know. I don't know if you guys looked at those teams that released. I'm trying to pull it up now, but a lot of SEC guys. I think he was one of four. Caleb Hawkins was one of four Big 12 players on the two Walter Camp preseason All-American teams. It was him, Baylor punter Palmer Williams. So one's a punter. I believe in punting, but having a punter on an all preseason All-American team, not as cool as having a running back. Cincinnati offensive lineman Evan Tegenstall. I can't say his last name. It's a classic offensive line last name. And then Cam Cook, the West Virginia running back, joined Caleb Hawkins on the second team. So I honestly was a little bit surprised. The names on there are names that people know. Arch Manning is on there. Malachi Tony's on there. Jeremiah Smith's on there. Julian Sands, the second team quarterback. So I think this is a big vote of confidence for Caleb Hawkins. He's, I think whenever the Oklahoma State people are thinking about this season, we're more thinking of it through the lens of Drew Mestamaker. But at this point, Caleb Hawkins is preseason All-American. He's the highest rated Cowboy in the video games. Like, he sort of got all the accolades going into the year. So it's probably a pretty good thing that I think OSU fans are more excited about the passing game. And, we got the stud running back that, the whole country's excited about.
Yeah, and Nathan, you kind of mentioned it in our group text, but you want to speak to kind of the X factor for the season. It relates to Caleb Hawkins. So what do you got for us on that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we'll talk more about this, but exactly right, Justin. If Caleb Hawkins has a big year, that means we had a good offensive line. And that means that our offense was freaking good. Because the quarterback, if you have a bad offensive line, there's some things you can do to hide it and stuff like that. And even the best running backs in the world, you got to get a little something. And so if Caleb Hawkins has an All-American type year, this is going to be a good football team, at least on offense. And I really do. That's the X factor because, if Drew Mestamaker is going to reach the heights that everybody thinks that he can, the growth, he's got to have time to throw. As much as I love Brandon Whedon, he would not have done a lot of great things with that line from last season. It's just the truth. But I think no position on the field relies on another one like the running back does on the offensive line. It's just, you can't do it without the other.
Speaking of preseason accolades, I submitted my all Big 12 preseason media team. They don't do a poll anymore because that was getting so out of whack because the last place team kept winning the league those handful of years in a row. But I was just going over it here. I think I included 4 Cowboys. I put Hawkins on there. I put Wyatt Young on there, even though, and again, so I think Chris Barnes is going to be the best receiver on this team. But I put Wyatt Young in the receiver spot just because I think he's a little bit more proven right now. just given the year that he had last year. So the way I think of preseason teams, I sort of think of like, okay, these people have proved it. I don't want to just base it solely on the potential of somebody. So I put Wyatt Young on there. I was struggling for a lot. Jacob Sexton was the last offensive lineman I put on there. I was sort of struggling as far as like what to do there, but he's a guy that started games for Oklahoma. He's a guy that started games in the SEC. If it goes right for Jacob Sexton, I think it's going to go, really right. I put Chris Barnes as my kick returner, and then I put Ethan Wisłowski and Jaleel Johnson on the defensive side. I put Drew Mestemaker. I put as the newcomer of the year. I put Noah Fafita as the quarterback, just again because sort of like the prove it sort of deal. So I think I also spelled Noah Fafita's name wrong. I hope the Big 12 doesn't dock me for that. But yeah, so that's all. Big 12 Media Days. It's Tuesday. Oklahoma State's going. Wednesday, it continues on to Wednesday, but I'll be there Tuesday. Bringing Tyler down with me. It'll be Caleb, Drew, Mestemaker. I don't know if I've said this already. Jaleel Johnson and then Ethan Wisłowski. I think it'll be a fun group. I'm excited. I think it's going to be tech dominant. I imagine all the storylines going into it and coming out of it are going to sort of be about Texas Tech in terms of the grand scheme. But it's going to be weird. This is going to be the first Big 12 Media Days without Mike Gundy. He's usually good for a zinger or two, or saying that he's drank that a 1,000 times, or last year was it last year that we were having him react to his person in the game, or was that 2 years ago? I don't know. It seems like there's always at least one really good Gundy moment out of it. So I'm sort of excited to see what an Eric Morris Big 12 Media Days looks like. It's a long day. It's a coffee-filled day, but it's always sort of the unofficial kickoff to the season if you're in the media space, I guess, at least.
As much as I love the possibility of Drew Mestemaker, he's not like the most outspoken like character, like go get him. So I'm kind of I want to kind of see what how Hawkins does and things like that, because he's got special traits, man. Like as a back, he does some really special things that you can't teach, and it'd be nice to have somebody like that can really get out there and speak well and hold the university out there like that in a good way. But I'm excited to hear from everybody. I'm just excited to hear from Coach Morris, right? We've heard from him quite a bit, but this is, I don't know how you guys feel, but for me, this is like the official start. Like, of like, hey man, football's getting close. Like, you know what I mean? Because I specifically remember going through it, and then it was like, I remember because it was Zach, and like Zach went to the Manning Academy, and then he came back, and then they flew down the Big 12 Media Days. And then like we were already pretty in the thick of it, but then like when he came back, like there was no more distractions. Like boom, you're ready for season. And I think that's kind of what this is going to be, right? And it's so important, but it's the first time, yes, nationally we know when Eric Morris got introduced and everybody's talking about it, but this is really the first time where Eric Morris, his players, everybody gets out there and says like, hey man, this is what we're going to do. This is who we're going to be. This is how we're going to represent ourselves. I'm even interested. This is silly, but I'm even interested to see like what they're wearing, because for the long time, Oklahoma State just did the polo and jeans thing, and a lot of schools have done the suits thing, and everybody's in on it together. Or I don't know. I mean, just something as simple as that. It seems like nothing, but I'm intrigued by it all.
They broke out cowboy boots one year. They're all wearing the polos, some jeans, and cowboy boots. I think it might have been Colin Oliver had to go get cowboy boots for the occasion, but sort of a star set.
Not a lot. Would you rather have cowboy boots or dog slippers?
Ooh,
forgot about that.
For Nick Martin, particularly dog slippers, but I think on the average human, cowboy boots. I feel like some years it's not very quarterback heavy. Who's going, but a lot of teams are bringing their quarterbacks this year. Baylor's bringing DJ Lagway, the Florida transfer. That's fun just to, especially if it's a transfer. You're like, ooh, are they going to really send this guy? Bear Bachmeier's going for BYU. Alonzo Burnett's going for UCF, the James Madison transfer, who's really good. Julian Lewis going for Colorado. So this is sort of his second year. He was a really highly touted recruit going into last year. Connor Weigman's going. Who else is going? Noah Fafita, JC French, who's the Georgia Southern transfer. And then Jaden Craig's the Harvard transfer for TCU, and Devin Dampier's going. So basically all the quarterbacks are showing up. So I think that's a good sign for a productive Big 12 Media Days from a media perspective.
Do you guys read into that at all? Like if your quarterback isn't going, I don't think.
Dude, I mean, there's a good case that's it's kind of like, hey, this is the leader of your team. If you don't have a quarterback going, then you got to have a really, really good middle linebacker or safety or something like that because what? You got to send your quarterback to represent. So, yeah, if there's anything where it's like, the only exception would be if you go into it and you know that there's a quarterback battle and it's going to be QB1 versus QB2, like you got to pick somebody to send and you're not going to send either one of them because it's that tight of a race. But that's historically not great. Like you really want to know who QB1 is going into the season. So
becoming a 3 quarterback carousel is not the way to go.
Yeah. I feel like that those were the times where Gundy wouldn't bring a quarterback was whenever, even if it was one of the sort of shadow battles, like a Spencer Drew. Maybe Spencer went that year that he was battling with Drew Brown. And honestly, you can't remember, but it felt like those were the years that Gundy would leave a quarterback off the list, and it's just like, I'm not sure, but to that extent, here are the teams not bringing quarterbacks: Arizona State, Texas Tech, Kansas, and West Virginia. So say what you will about that. I guess Texas Tech probably still going to be good. Obviously, we understand what their quarterback situation is right now. Arizona State, I think, is sort of surprised. They obviously lost Sam Levitt. I should know who their quarterback is. I've definitely read about it.
Cutter Boley,
Yeah.
From the SEC.
Yeah,
Kentucky, I think.
I think that's correct. Yeah. I don't know. West Virginia is going to be the Hawkins kid from OU, and then Kansas is not going to be Jalen Daniels for the first time forever. So I think I'm still just expecting Jalen Daniels to step out there.
Yeah, I was kind of like, he's been to enough media days. He doesn't need to go again. Perry Ellis playing quarterback at Kansas. So awesome. Well, let's shift over real quick because other news that had kind of broke was sounds like some legal stuff going on, but Kashie Natt seeking an injunction because he was declared ineligible by the NCAA. And so, Marshall, what have you heard as far as the latest and what's going on with that?
Yeah, so I don't even know that he was declared ineligible. It sounds like they just can't. I don't know if there's a difference between canceling it because the lawyer came out that, and this was the way it was written in the On3 article, I think that initially got this whole thing started, was that they canceled it. And I think it all amounts to the same thing. But from what I think it's still a somewhat optimistic approach that he's going to play this year. His journey to get to this point is really, honestly, winding. He started at JUCO. He then spent 3 years at NAIA's at the NAIA level, and then was at Sam Houston last year. So I think what they're trying to say is that his 5-year clock should have started. Now that this new 5-for-5 thing should have started in 22 when he got to the NAIA's. I don't know. It's this is sort of the classic. What is eligibility is more of a figment in a concept than it is an actual thing. But I think right now I'm sort of cautiously optimistic that he will be playing. Would obviously be a big loss, but I think this team is still going to be, with Kashie Natt, still obviously a really good team. Without Kashie Natt, I'm still, I think relatively positive on this team. It's just going to take more out of a guy like Anthony Falesi if Natt's not going to be able to play. You're going to be asking a little bit more out of maybe some of your newcomers. So I think that's the fear going in. But like I said, I think right now, I think maybe this was sort of expected, and I'd still lean him playing right now.
Few things. There would be nothing, absolutely nothing, more on brand for Oklahoma State than for us to be the first school to lose an injunction case.
Oh gosh,
there would be nothing, absolutely nothing more on brand. Oklahoma State, rubber stamp that baby. That ain't coming back. But yeah, you'd have to feel pretty good going against the NCAA. They really don't have much power. This 5-for-5 thing, I don't even know when it's enacted. We don't know exactly where the first time. You've already seen a lot of other people already suing for the 5-for-5 because they're really, yes, there's lines, but you're trying to figure out those lines. I think Kashie has a really good chance here. I think it would be, the way that he talked about him and things like that, a couple months ago when he first got to practice and all those things and the initiatives and the way he talks and communicates and really starts and you've got to have those guys. And I think it would be a pretty big loss, especially early in the season. I mean, there's no doubt that probably Falesi's probably more talented, right? Younger, bigger, strong, the whole thing. But this guy's been through it. He's seen live bullets. He knows what it takes. His calling card is toughness and defense. And if you're trying to set that tone to lose that guy before the season even starts, that's a tough one, man. I really, really hope, because who knows in the stat sheet what that's going to look like. How if he's going to be a big scorer, I wouldn't think so, or all the things. But he's one of those guys that slaps the floor with two hands, covers you, picks you up, full court, and really dictates and sets the tone for his team and goes on those runs. So he was somebody I was very excited about, and so I really really hope this works out.
Yeah, I think the style of basketball that Oklahoma State fans like is the hustle, the guy that gets on the floor. I think that Kashie Natt is like molded to be a fan favorite in Stillwater. You just got to get on the floor.
All right, we're gonna do like a World Cup minute or whatever. I don't know if we have a segment officially for this. It's still going on, but I saw USA won yesterday against Bosnia, playing playing in 49
and Herzegovina.
That's true. We beat 2 countries with 10 guys.
Yeah,
so,
that was beautiful. It was a dicey. Obviously the Balogun gets the red card. It's round of 16 is going to be interesting. I'm a big Ricardo Pepi guy. He grew up in FC Dallas. It's the closest MLS team to Medill America. Grew up a big FC Dallas fan. Ricardo Pepi came through the ranks there, so I believe in Ricardo Pepi. But it is a little nerving that a guy that scored the majority of the Americans' goals is now going to be out for the round of 16.
But it kind of sounds like we still might be able to hold our own against Belgium without him. So
I don't think we'll get waxed by any means, but it became a lot taller. You lose a guy like Balogun.
Yeah, and the red card itself, obviously, really hotly contested. I recognize, and I have to do the same thing because I cover Oklahoma State, the school I went to college at, that I'm able to sort of separate feelings. It didn't, obviously didn't look great, but from my dumb, big American perspective, how do you give that guy a red card in that scenario of it being the World Cup, of this, the team is already ahead, it's going to kick him out of the next round. It was just and the ref was bad both ways. Nobody was happy with that ref at the end of the game.
Well, so here's the thing. Anytime you go studs up to the back of the leg, you open yourself up to interpretation. Like, that's just it. And unfortunately, the thing that bothers me the most about the whole ordeal is they quite literally did not follow the protocol for VAR. So even them going back over, using VAR, using a slow-mo, which you're not supposed to be able to do, or freeze frame, to make the call, like, none of it was proper protocol. And then FIFA doesn't even have a review board like every other professional organization in the world does. They're like, hey, man, our bad. Like, go ahead. So this is hot garbage, man. Our best football team of all time, and our biggest match in the country's real probably history, we're not going to have our top scorer because of I'm going to save my language, but somebody I don't like made a bad call.
Yeah, the lads were they took care of business yesterday, though. That's what I liked about it, because we've seen other games. Germany, obviously, we've sort of watched these other knockout games, and there have been some teams like not on their P's and Q's, and even with 10 guys to be able to get that over the line yesterday. Obviously, the Malik Tillman free kick was a thing of beauty. It was, I think the goalie could have done better there. I'll just say that.
Yeah. So I don't want to get too far in the weeds here, but so when the goalie is setting up, like, goalies, when they set up their wall and like they angle themselves, right? Like, he knows that like one step and a dive is like basically what you give yourself on a free kick. Like, he has to know, because that wasn't even like it wasn't even like a perfectly shot like to post, like, and he still couldn't reach it. So when he was lining up, I was like, I have no idea why he's giving this much room on the near post. I mean, it is an exceptionally difficult shot from that close, but still, I was like, what if he even just gets it over the wall? Like, this has got a chance, and that's exactly what he did. But I think my favorite thing, and you talked about it, Marshall, even with OSU, but this team is on the forefoot like no U.S. team has ever really been. We've always kind of been like a react, and then once somebody makes a mistake, then go try and score. Like, we are putting the pressure down because we have the skill, and Pochettino makes them believe like no other coach has. And it's just like, this is such a fun brand of soccer to watch that we've never seen out of the men. Our women, this is how our women play every World Cup. We're used to it with our women. But this has never seen this with the men, and it's just a lot of fun to watch.
Pochettino got us right. And we got to give a quick shout out to Dominican Republic of Congo, because anybody who knows me knows best friend Eve Batoba is from DRC.
Democratic.
No,
Dominican Republic. Dominican
not the
Republic.
Dominican Republic of Congo.
Sheesh. Congo. We'll just call him Congo. Make it easy.
Batoba's going to be real mad with you now.
Democratic Republic of Congo. And yeah, those guys, historic team for them. Unfortunately, they ran into England, who's probably maybe the third or fourth best team in the World Cup, and Harry Kane's a freak.
Heartbreaking. Were they up 2-0 and then lost?
No, it was they had like one in the first 7 minutes, I think, and then they held it on forever. And then England ended up scoring with like
some beauties from Harry Kane
or something like that.
I enjoy hating on Harry
Kane.
As an Arsenal fan, I enjoy hating on Harry Kane, but boy, there's some beauts the other day.
He's pretty good. Shouldn't have never left.
Amazing.
And Ponch, also, I don't know I could love a foreign manager as much as I love Pochettino.
Dude, have you guys
awesome.
we can keep going on soccer, but have you guys watched that special that I think Tom Rinaldi put out? It's like on Fox or whatever. Dude, gotta go to YouTube it. It's amazing. It's like 5 minutes, and to your point, Marshall, the gratitude that man displays and like his family displays for him being able to represent our country, and how proud that, like, it just makes you fall in love with him. I think gratitude is like one of those things that if somebody shows it, like, you automatically fall in love with them, right? I think because pride's such an ugly thing that like gratitude just soothes the soul. And it's like his parents are just like farmers in Argentina, and it really is an amazing 5-minute little segment. You guys got to watch it.
He's gonna break my heart whenever he eventually leaves for a club or something. My heart's gonna be broken.
Yeah, send the link. I'll definitely check that out.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it was a unique episode. It was a great way to have a great time to have a guest. I'm glad Dr. Wu was able to join us and start our campaign for natural grass in Boone Pickens Stadium. That's ultimately what this podcast is all about now. So,
and
doable.
Hashtag grass school. Am I right?
By the next episode, we'll have actual stuff to talk about. Some football player will have talked into a microphone, and we can discuss that.
Well, I mean, we didn't talk about it, but it was good to see Drew Mestamaker at the Manning Passing Academy again and doing well. But I one thing, we can jump off after this, but a lot of people are really worried about Drew being like one and done. This quarterback draft class is going to be incredibly deep. And I'm not saying he can't be a first or won't be a first, but if he comes out this year, he could very easily be a second or third round draft pick just because of sheer number. There's a better than 50-50 chance Drew comes back no matter the year that he has because of this draft class. So, not saying like don't enjoy him while you got him, but don't be afraid. Like, let him go. It's a great draft class. We'll see what happens. But
I hope he
performed very well.
If he's a first round pick, I had a great time following this team around for all season.
If he is, absolutely. But I'm saying, you're talking about people that I listen to and trust quite a bit are saying, realistically, you're talking about 5 to 7 possible first round draft picks at quarterback. And he wasn't one of the ones named. Not saying, that changes, right? Guys do that all the time. But I'm just saying, if you're that deep into a class, you come back so you can be a top 10, 15 pick the next year. Or he has that option. So I'm just saying, that's something I was thinking about as I was looking at like the passing academy stuff and people talking about all these guys that played well. And obviously Drew came up. He was one of the notables that played well, but or threw well, I should say. But which is nice. First quarterback since Spencer Sanders to go. So yeah, I don't know how Alan Bowman didn't get the invite, but here we are.
Almost made it to the episode. Sorry, Alan Bowman.
Almost. Before we head out, you guys have any plans for the 4th?
Going down to the homeland. I'll be on Lake Texoma on Saturday. Well, we're heading down tomorrow. We're going to see some fireworks tomorrow night with the nieces and nephews, and then headed out to the lake for the weekend. So looking forward to it.
Nathan?
Nope, nothing too big. Just got little ones. I'm going to take them to the fireworks stand and let them pick out a few fun things. Maybe like screaming rooster. Maybe a tank, some snakes, poppers. You name it. A few things that I'm not too worried that they're going to get injured by. Maybe some bumblebees. Twisted Sisters, whatever else you guys with or without the whistle sticks, whatever. But yeah,
It's just like a wealth of firework knowledge. He just knows.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Saturn missiles, whatever. We'll see. We'll see what we come out there with. Bottle rockets are legal now in the state, so I don't know if this is the age I want to introduce them at, but.
So I used to live in Mustang, and I don't know if it's still this way, but fireworks were legal within city limits in Mustang. So that it's just like a war zone. It felt like outside. My mom once sent us out to like me and my brother, we just moved there, and my mom was like, "Hey, we ran out of fireworks, so you guys go get some." So me and my brother go, and we're like driving, and we're almost like hunkered down just because like it feels like mortars are just going off around us as we're driving the thing. I don't recommend a city, especially of that size, the size of Mustang, having fireworks be legal within limits, but it's America. You do what you want, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we're in Yukon, and we've got cops lined up on our street that they just live there, and it's like neighbors do not care, firing off fireworks right in their driveway. Now, of course, the one that does the big ones, he had moved out, so this is our first year without him. I don't know what to expect now. It's going to be way different, but yeah, I saw that the OKC Comets were playing July 4th, so I'm like, maybe it'd be worth it to go check out the Comets baseball game and see fireworks there. But then again, I'm in Yukon, so Yukon's got some good stuff at their park too. So there's a lot of great stuff all around. So go have fun, enjoy the long weekend, and while you're out, hopefully you're listening to the pod, sharing it with others. If you have a chance to like, share, and subscribe to show your support, we would appreciate it. God bless America. Keep those pistols firing, and remember to reload. Go Pokes.